All right. We are live on YouTube and on Instagram for Mocktail Monday. Today is the 27th. Hopefully everyone's Thanksgiving was good. We relaxed. We didn't host, which was beautiful. Really enjoyed not hosting and not having people over my house. The older I get, the more introverted I feel like I'm becoming. I think that's just naturally how it goes. Let me pull up a few things here. Talk about some finances. So today we're just going to do a week one review. Talk about, my picks were okay in football. I think a lot of my teams that I selected won. Michigan beat Ohio State. Obviously, that was a huge, huge win for them. Today's mocktail of the week is Ariel. I already showed Instagram. It's a non-alcoholic red wine. I usually do free, it's called. FRE. And that stuff's pretty good, depending on what you get. But, yeah, this is pretty good. The red wines that are non-alcoholic. Let me not screw this up real quick. Hold on. Give me a second. I don't want to spill all over. The wines are obviously what is it called? De-alcoholized? De-alcoholized. So anything under 1.4% is not alcohol, technically. So this is 0.05 or 0.5 or whatever. Oh, geez, it is kind of a stubborn wine. But basically, it's, the one I get usually is the free. I've tried like 3 different flavors of theirs. Their white one's too sugar. Their champagne version is too whatever. But their reds are really good. So there's like a Cabernet and there's a blend one that's really good, I think. Or maybe it's the Merlot. I don't remember. All right, let me see if I can do this. This one's kind of stubborn. All right, there we go. Ugh, holy moly. I'm usually like the king of doing this, but right now it is not coming out. There we go. Whew. Anyways, so let's talk about a few things. See how this non-alcoholic wine is. That's a generous pour. And of course, I don't have my wine stopper here. Oh, that's really good. Very good. Ariel. Actually, that one tastes a little more sugary than the FRE, the free one. I'm going to put this over here. This is probably not a good spot to put it, but I don't have a button. But very good. So, yes, Mocktail Monday. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about a couple things, a good quote of the week, I guess that I heard from Jeff Foxworthy. Someone posted it, Bill, one of my followers. I thought it was really interesting what he was talking about in front of this group of men. I'll get to that in a minute. I don't think it's recently. It might have been recently. It could have been recently. We're going to talk about something that he said that really struck my chords. And when it comes to that, inflation, I posted earlier, inflation is not your main issue. I'll kind of say that. F off. We'll keep it PG-13 with your fundraisers. I'll explain that. And then we're going to talk about some positive vibes and some more picks because I love sports. So let's get right into it. Inflation is not your main issue right now. What does that mean to me? And what I mean by that is I've seen it a lot more recently, and I was thinking a lot about it this weekend, is basically inflation is a big part of a lot of us struggling, I think, over the last year and a half, especially. A huge part of it. Everything has gone up. Groceries, food. I mean, it's nothing is really that affordable anymore. But in the same thing I've seen, and I've really thought about it this weekend. I had a lot of chill weekend, very chill weekend. It was a holiday weekend, so I had a lot of time to think and go sit in the park and stuff like that and just chill. In terms of your income I was thinking about this. Income is a huge part. You don't make enough money, most likely, right? I mean, I don't have any numbers in front of me. I probably should have pulled this out, but I was really thinking about this. Like, as much as inflation has gone up, in the last year and a half, coming up on 2 years now. That's crazy. Like basically March is when everything collapsed of 21 or no 22. So it's gonna be 2 years soon. Like while inflation goes up, and obviously you're like everything else goes up, we don't make any changes. We're not, most of us don't, of having better income or having more income. And not of all of us control that, obviously. But some of us, some ideas that we might want to think about are, you know, I was talking to a few people about this the last couple of weeks, is it's stupid as it sounds. I'm not saying like garage sales and like make more money through garage sales, because that's a lot of work and it doesn't benefit you much. We all have like a closet or a garage. I'm looking over it right now, we have a storage room. We go through it every couple of months and find things that are, you know, stupid. Like, wow, we haven't used this in like, you know, I found a bunch of books in my tub. I read a lot, but I was like, man, I'm not going to read all these. So I'll probably go donate them but you know, sell them back for credit at one of the used bookstores and get some credit for another book. But like, we all have things that we can sell, right? It's not, you know, so dire that like, I'm not telling you to sell your great grandma's, you know, whatever it is, you know, just to make a couple $100 or something like that. But we all have like that kind of way of actually just taking a Sunday off or whatever and going through things and saying, wow, we could probably sell this. Facebook Marketplace, we've used it for years. I'm not saying you're going to make $1 million off of it, but we've sold a few things for $20 here, $15 here, $35 here. I mean, that all adds up, and that just could take one afternoon. So that's just like one idea I was thinking about recently, where it's just like, how can you make a little bit of extra income on top of, instead of just doing side hustles and stuff like that? Listen, side hustles can be great if you have time to do it, but a lot of us have families and kids and stuff like that. I'm not sure that's realistic. And if it is, and you can run your own business from home, awesome. That's a side hustle. You just got to be patient and carve out time with your partner and make sure they're on the same page. Like, get the kids out of my house right now. This one's for Charlie because he's watching. Right now, I can hear, let's see. My daughter is asleep. She should be asleep, but I can still hear her kind of mumbling. My son is pretty good about going to bed. But like right now, I'm like doing this live, and I shouldn't get any interruptions because my wife knows I'm doing it, and she's hopefully going to watch it here soon. So if you can pull off, you know, doing side hustles from home, that's great. Selling things or, you know, having stores and stuff like that, and you're really good at it, great. If, you know, you're sitting here and you're just constantly, where am I going with this? Oh, side hustles. I mean, Instacart, you know, Shipped, Uber and stuff like that, that takes a lot of miles out of it. I mean, you can do it. I don't know if it's worth the buck personally. You know, I just don't know. I know some people that do Uber and stuff like that too, and they're like, well, it's a lot of driving. Like, you make decent money, but I mean, you really got to be committed and you got to be in the right place at the right time. So, but thinking of ways to get more and more income is kind of our only choice right now. I mean, you sit there, I talk about it every single week. I talk about it every video. I would wave at everybody. I'll just say hi to everyone. I see Tyler, what up? Oh, I saw Bria. You guys must be hanging out together. Appreciate you watching, but like every week I talk about like paycheck to paycheck, right? I mean, you can look at the numbers. I talk to people about it all the time. It's on Google, like how many people are living paycheck to paycheck. I think the number's garbage. They say 61%. I haven't really looked at like the actual update recently, but it's more than 61% that make up to, I think it says up to $100,000 or whatever the fact is. It's more than that. Like, I see it every day. I talk to clients and they're telling me about people at their work that they're seeing. They're like, yeah, we're struggling too. Like, there are so many people struggling right now, you guys, because inflation has completely destroyed this country. But there's ways around it. And if you can't have that, if you don't have time, I think you can make it. I'm going to be real with you. But if you don't have time to do side hustles and you don't think that, you know, product for Facebook Marketplace and selling little things out of your garage or your storage is going to do it, what about your current job? Like, I will take props for something, and that is I have helped. I think I've coached my wife over the years on how to be more confident, and ask for that raise or ask for, are you going to become like a better employee, basically, like step up, right? And if you don't ever ask, they're never going to give it to you. So the worst they can tell you is no, right? But if you show the initiative, even, I mean, when's the last time you asked for a promotion? I know people don't give a ton of raises right now, and people are tight, and companies are like, "Oh, we're not going to give you any more money this year," which sucks. But like, when's the last time you sat down there and said, "You know what? I'm a assistant manager right now at this place. I want to be my own manager. I've been sitting on my hands. I just realized for 3 years." When do you go to your manager and say, "Hey," or your corporate leader and say, "Hey, is there a path 3 to 6 months? What do I got to do to like get a better promotion? Like, I want to make more money. I want to have more responsibility." Now it comes with more responsibility, but at the same time, I don't think that a lot of us are taking that initiative. And so that's just something I was thinking about all weekend. It's like, are we taking the initiative with our job, finding ways to make more income? Because the only way we're going to make, a lot of us are going to make it here through the coming months, maybe year, I don't know how long this is going to last, is to find more income. I'm going to be honest with you. I have tried to find ways to find more income every month for the last, what did I say, since March of 2021. I'm like, wow, like this is good. Like, we're good this month. We're good this month. It gets slow when you run your own business. You're like, oh, panic. Where can I find more money? What can I do? Can I sell something? Can I go to networking events to, create more business, create new referral partners? I think of anything I can to make us more money. And it doesn't take that much. It's just an afternoon of sitting around sometimes and just thinking about it. So just food for thought. Obviously, if you have any questions, you can post them in the chat on Instagram or YouTube. I got a couple followers on YouTube. I think I didn't look this up last week. We had this problem last week where I can't see who's like live on my YouTube, but I think it's, if I remember right, I didn't look it up, but I think it's, if accounts, you won't be able to see them, but let's see what this says. What are you doing? I'm live. You need to go. Okay. What are you doing with your computer? All right. I'm live on TV right now. Like, you need to go. I need you guys out. Okay. Thank you. Prime example right there of kids interrupting. Anyways, so something to think about there. Sorry, that threw me off. But inflation is not always your main issue. It really is not. Next up, so I want to end with what I was talking about with what the video I watched with Jeff Foxworthy and what he was saying and stuff like that. And then some other positive things I heard at church this weekend that I really think that would be good for people to kind of hear. And it changes your perspective. But first, we're going to say something. F off with your fundraisers. Forget your fundraisers. And let me explain something. I've seen this a lot lately. And there's going to be some people that see this that are not going to like this because you know who you are, because you probably are the ones that are doing. No, I'm joking. But for real, like fundraisers, I have seen so many fundraisers, and this is not talking about Girl Scouts, Girl Scout cookies. We'll get to that. That's amazing. Don't you worry about those. I see all these fundraisers right now that are honestly like, oh, my kid's soccer or hockey team is raising funds for this, buy a square for this, or I don't think coupon books are one I see anymore. We used to do coupon books back in the day. Oh my God, those were annoying. But like, I mean, $20 a square, $25 this, go ahead and donate to my kid and my kid's hockey organization, and like for their gear or whatever, their travel and all that. And I'm sitting here thinking, I just gave you all a fact about where I think it's probably 71% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. We are maxed out as a country in debt. Like, crouching from outside of Michigan, you might not know. I don't know how nationwide is. Like, From time to time, I used to like to go to Fresh Time. Fresh Time. I don't know when I walked into a Fresh Time recently. I think I went in there once when I was driving by, but it's so expensive. It's delicious and it's got like organic and like really great foods and good quality. It's just more expensive though. But like we can't even afford to go into those places, and we have the guts to ask people to donate by buying squares. And you know, these squares and all these games and stuff, we're not just buying one, right? We're buying like, oh yeah, give me $100 worth. Let's see if I win. The chances of you gambling and winning are not very good, right? And so it goes to, I just the audacity, and I'm going to be real for a minute, and a lot of people might not like this, but I have to be real. It really grinds my gears. Is the audacity of people to constantly do that when people are struggling so much is remarkable to me. It really is. Now, on the flip side, Girl Scout cookies have a benefit. They're delicious, but they're not super expensive either, right? And it comes around what, once a year? So like you can get a box of tagalongs. Even though Aldi, shout out, Aldi has their version of tagalongs, the peanut butter fudge that like have, I'm not big into dairy as much as I used to be. I don't really eat a ton of dairy anymore. So they don't have dairy. They're made with like cocoa and fudge. They taste exactly like tagalongs. Shout out Aldi. You guys got to go check that out. And they're only like, Aldi, like $3 for it's delicious. Anyways, but you can get a box of Thin Mints. My wife and kids like Samoas and like a box of tagalongs for what, $15 for 3 boxes total? I mean, okay. Once a year I get it. But like the constant, you know, I mean, and it's not like I'm not saying like, okay, you signed up your kids, and if in a couple years, if this comes back to bite me, anyone on this call or anyone can shoot me a message down the road and be like, hey, you sold out. If my kid ends up playing football like he wants to here coming up or whatever, a sport where all of a sudden we have to donate. Oh, they just like, they send one out for like all of the Christmas magazine. This was probably beginning of this month. And then they give you like 2 weeks to fill all the orders, and it's already done. And we like missed the deadline. But anyways, like, you know, cookie boxes, M&Ms, all this other crap. But like, I can't stand those even. And even when we do those, I'm blessed to have a son. It's not that he doesn't care, but he isn't one of those ones that's like, all right, let's go ask these people. All right, let's go do this. Let's go do this. Go like that. And I don't need to post on Facebook and say, hey, donate, buy a box of candy for, you know, my kid's school to help them fund their fundraiser. Like, we keep it with my dad, my mom, Carrie's dad, and maybe my brother in Cleveland. But that's like immediate family. Like, I'm not going to bug people and post all over, you know, social media, hey, sponsor my kids, blah, 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 because it's just not right where we're at in this country. It's just not right. I mean, I'm sorry. Your kid is probably wonderful. He's a great soccer or hockey player, I'm sure. I love kids. Obviously, I have 2 of them. I love all the other kids that are just adorable and stuff like that. Your kid's probably great. You're probably a great person. Stop asking me to buy squares for your son's hockey and soccer gear. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. That was my rant, but it leads into something a little more thing. So Jeff Foxworthy, there was this Bill, shout out Bill. I don't know if Bill will ever see this, but he's a busy guy and he doesn't watch a lot of these. But I met him at a networking thing, and I noticed he posted this Jeff Foxworthy video the other day. He was talking in front of a group of men. I wish I had more context on it. It looks like it might be semi-recent because Jeff Foxworthy, it looked like him more recently. I don't know if it was like a men's church group, or I should have read more about it, but I just watched the video. It's a short video. You guys can find it on there. It's like 4 minutes long or something like that, or at least the video that they tagged. But anyways, he was saying, basically, Foxworthy was saying, I've always liked Jeff Foxworthy. I mean, he's not the most hilarious guy, but he like keeps it real, and he tells a couple good one-liners here and stuff like that in the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. So I thought he's always a respectful guy. not ego, but like thinking of himself and not like always grateful and like just always grateful for what he had and for what he said. Like, for example, he gave the example. He's like, just next time you go into a coffee shop, I think it was a coffee shop, he said, or a restaurant, maybe a diner, he was saying, and you walk in and you sit down and the waitress walks up to you. Maybe she's got some pigtails or something cool going on with her. Just compliment her. Just like say, oh my God, your hair looks so quick. It looks really great and everything like that. A text message there. But like just little things that I've always done that. And I want to keep teaching my kids that, to be honest with you, is just like always say hi to people. I'll never, and what he basically said is it's easy to be grateful. Sorry, this is why I want to go back. It's easy to be grateful when things are going well. But when things are in the dumper, obviously that is not the case. That's literally what he said, right? And it comes back to money, right? And finances. And I don't think, if you watch the video, and if there was further right now, essentially is what I caught up with it. And, it's so easy back then when you're making all the money and inflation's down and everyone's like, oh, stocks are killing it. Everything's, yeah, I'm good. Like all that, making good money, we're affording everything, we're getting promotions, bonuses, and everything we could easily give. Yeah, we'll donate to fundraiser, right? We'll buy a square. Why the heck not? Because we live large, right? And then like all of a sudden the last year and a half or 2 years, it's just like you think about everything you do, right? Listen, I'm a grateful person. Have I donated as much this year? No. I'm going to be honest with you. Times are tough. Money inflation goes up. Everything's, having 2 kids is eating you out of the house is costly, But he said that, and it's starting to skip on YouTube. So dang, I'll just look at Instagram for a minute. But hold on, it's slowing down here. So basically he said that, and it really kind of just really caught my eye. And then it was weird because I heard it. I think I heard it Saturday night. I was sitting around watching it. And then we went to church Sunday morning, a piece of paper. And it was all about like holding on to things was the whole spiel, basically. Holding on to things or resenting things. And like you're holding back yourself. And it was all about grateful again. And I looked at my wife today and I was like, oh my God, this is hitting where it is. Like for finances, for everything. Like, yeah. I just watched that video last night and he's talking about gratefulness. And now the pastor's talking about gratefulness. And it was like a common thing that just kind of happens. And so what's crazy about it is like he really had this break two things down that are really just like allowing God to do his work. I'm not going to make this religious. I'm just telling you what he was saying, but also what's holding you back in life too, from being positive and from being and donating or whatever it is, and something positive. And so like we wrote 2 things. We burned it in a fire. They have like a fire pit over. Apparently I missed it, so I had to burn it last night in my fire. But like the long story I want to say is we have so much to be grateful for. We really do. Even when the times are tough, I don't know what to do. I mean, I charged off all my credit cards. I'm maxed out. I have no income. What am I supposed to do? You're grateful for your health, right? I mean, I'm alive making this video right now. I have 2 wonderful kids. I have a beautiful wife. Like, I have a job still. We still make income. There's a lot of people that don't have any of that. Don't have clean water. Don't have showers. Don't have anything. And so that's where we got to kind of just remember that, I think. And, when the going gets tough and you just feel like your back's completely against the wall and, your money is just out, think about those things that I said, just use all resources to do this, but stay positive. And that's what Foxworthy was saying too. It's just like, you're not expected to like be grateful at all times. Not everyone is able to like grateful, but, and it's a domino effect. Great things happen. I believe that karma, good karma and bad karma happens. Bad karma for sure, but good karma happens too. The more positive things you do, the more things that you say, hey, if I just have a better mindset about it, I know everything's going to change. And it usually does, not always. So something to think about. and YouTube's going crazy. So I don't know what this is going to look like. So YouTube is just, I can see it slowing down. Something to think about. Be grateful. Stop blowing me up for your fundraisers. I really don't want to give money right now. I do normally, but not for like that kind of stuff. Cookies, hit me up though. If you got the cookie hookup, for sure, shoot me a message. I guess I should say every Monday when we go live that like, bring me questions. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat right now because I'm going to wrap this up in a minute. YouTube is just freezing. I mean, I can see my hands going. So. Which is besides just like have a good week. It was a great Thanksgiving. Hopefully everyone had a very relaxing Thanksgiving. That was the key. And now we're going to and random things. I'm not going to do all of them, but the first one up is one of my, not my favorite team, just is exciting me the most right now outside of Michigan State because they're pathetic and it's just been disappointing. Yep, they're getting their butts kicked. Unbelievable. I have literally shadow banned. This is crazy. If anyone watches basketball on here and knows how big of a Pistons fan I am, obviously I'm still wearing their stuff. I did something last weekend. I got to rate your team. So I got like Michigan State basketball, Michigan State football. I think I put Michigan football on there because I just like to stay up to date and stuff like that. But like I have a handful of team. I unfavorited the Pistons. I removed them. I went on Instagram. I unfollowed. I don't want to see any of their updates. I am so fed up with how poorly this year has gone. I love watching Washington play. Oregon, Washington, Friday night. Crazy game I think it's going to be. Oregon's on a mission. I don't really understand. I opened this up this morning. Oregon is favored by 9.5 points, even though Washington beat them already, and they're undefeated. Vegas. Washington's defense isn't good, but you're going to give them 9.5 points against Michael Penix. I think that's crazy. I'm taking the points. I think Washington might win this game. Keep an eye out. I'm going to say Washington 35 but I don't know. Take the points. I'm not saying to gamble. I'm just saying I just don't understand that 9.5 points. That's wild to me. Michigan, Iowa. I absolutely despise Michigan, but Iowa has to be the worst 10-2 team. Me and my buddies were talking about this the other day, and my dad. 10-2 team I've ever seen in my life. They're pathetic. Not by like 30 or 40 points. I think it's going to be Michigan 27, Iowa 10. Check that out. And I skipped one. Georgia, Alabama's before that. Another great game. SEC, we're all sick of it. We're sick of the SEC. Alabama's going to make it interesting. They're not going to win that game, though. Sorry, Georgia's going to come out and got luckier than I've ever seen any team get lucky last weekend, the other night. I mean, it was a phenomenal play by that kid. But, I mean, come on. Main games, the Lions in New Orleans and San Fran, Philly is just a really good game. The Lions are going to bounce back at New Orleans. It's a tough place to play down there. But 27-20 is what I'm going with. Lions are going to win that one. San Fran, believe it or not, I think Philly. I watched that end of that Philly Buffalo game, which was great, but there was a lot of questionable calls in that. I think Philly's ready to expire at some point. Now, that's it. I'm going to see how crazy YouTube's looking at. You'll have to go back and watch. I noticed a few people that joined. Go back and watch. We talked about just to review. Yeah, and this YouTube's crazy. Maybe I'm doing it on Instagram. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but I'm going like this. It's just really wild. Anyways, to review, honestly, inflation is not your main issue. Thinking of I gave different perspectives, different thoughts of how you can maybe make more income. We need more income in this world. We all need more income. Not all of us, but you know what I mean. A good portion of us. Forget your fundraisers. You know, you got stuff like that. That's fine. But realistically, our backs are against the wall right now, you guys, and most of us. And it's really hard to ask somebody to donate to your kid's fundraiser, ice cream social, hockey gear, soccer gear, whatever it is. You really got to think about others, because the more you think about others, like I said, that good karma comes back in, right? And everything kind of levels off. And yeah, and then just be grateful for what you have. And honestly, I appreciate you guys joining me. Like I said, one more promotion. I'm sorry. There's some late joiners. And since YouTube's freezing, I'll just go like this, slow motion. Not Mocktail. It's called Ariel. It's pretty good. I usually do free, which is a non-alcoholic, like sugary, a little more sugary. Although there's not that many sugar in it. It's only 10 grams of sugar. Anyways, this is pretty good. It's like a 3.5 out of 5. I like the free better. But check it out if you're not into alcohol or anything. It's pretty good. And yeah, I will see you guys next Monday. Thank you for joining. And as always, peace.